Hello everyone and welcome to the Knowledge Pool, your source for everything regarding the rules of Magic the Gathering. Today we'll be going over the three new commanders I should say, from the Obscura Operation Deck or the Esper deck from the new set Streets of New Capenna. Let's begin. First we have the face commander of the Obscura deck, which is Kamiz, Obscura Oculus. It's 1 and the Esper colors for a legendary creature Cephalid Rogue 2/4. And the text: when you attack, target attacking creature can't be blocked. This turn it connives, then choose another attacking creature with lesser power. That creature gains double strike at the end of turn. Okay, so this is a bit of a weird wording. Again, when you attack means that whenever one or more creatures you control attack, this triggers. You choose an attacking creature you control can block this. So this is the only part of the ability that targets. So let's say you attack with 3 creatures, you choose one of them, that creature can block this turn. Then you do the following. That creature connives. So connive again means draw a card, discard a card, and if you discarded a non-land card, the creature gets a +1/+1 card. Then you choose another attacking creature with lesser power and that creature gains double strike. Note that when this trigger resolves, you do all of this. So you connive and then you choose. So the opponents will not get to know which creature you would choose for the double strike portion until you have resolved this trigger. And it is worded this way. So let's say you attack with 2/2s and you choose one of them to connive. If that became a 3/2, then you would choose the other 2/2 and give it double strike. So this is a really interesting commander. Is Esper forcing essentially a small creatures aggro strategy. I think you can take this into different scenarios. So you can use the unblockable part to play an Esper Ninjas deck, even though Dimir is probably a better color, but you can still play Ninjas with white here because the unblockable part enables Ninjutsu very well, and also the double strike goes well with Ninjutsu. But if you want to make it a more flavored thing, like the spy thing, gain information thing, you can run cards that do on-hit stuff. For example, the Coastal Piracies of the World, or cards like Thief of Sanity, which on-hit gets you cards from your opponent that you can use. This is good twofold because you either can make them block so you're so to hit, or if they already have evasion, you can give them the double strike and then you get double the effect. Overall, pretty interesting, a little bit unfocused, you could take it a lot of ways, but still pretty cool for the deck. Up next is the other commander that will be run with the deck, Tivit, Seller of Secrets. It's a 3 and Esper colors for a 6/6 legendary creature Sphinx Rogue, flying ward 3, which means that whenever he is targeted for a spell or ability, the opponent that targeted has to pay 3 of the spell's countered. Kar's Dilemma: whenever Tivit enters the battlefield or this commander must play, starting with you, each player votes for evidence of bribery. For each evidence vote you investigate, for each bribery vote you make a treasure token, and when voting you get an additional vote, which you can choose different things. So pretty interesting card. Unfortunately, voting in Esper colors, there are like 13 cards that actually vote, so you cannot really focus the deck around voting. You can obviously run the best voting cards like Expropriate here because you get 2 picks for yourself. Because you have an additional vote, you can always get 2 extra turns at the bare minimum, so you will most likely win. And for Cast Judgment, which I think is the next best card from this cycle, you get to pick a permanent twice if you really want it gone, or 2 different permanents, and then maybe connive with your fellow players to pick the permanents you want. Really interesting here, the ETB trigger will always be in your favor, which means that you actually get to pick with the ATB trigger or the Dear Commands Damaging whether you want 2 treasures, 2 clues, or 1 and 1 because you get 2 votes. So average from this card you get usually 2 treasures and 3 clues, or 3 treasures and 2 clues, I think. This guy has again a pretty easy infinite combo with Deadeye Navigator, because the Navigator has Soul Bond and can blink either himself or the other bonded creature for 2 mana. Obviously you bond them together by either having one in play and playing the other afterwards, and you use the Dice's ability to blink the Tivit, grow gets to treasure, so even if the opponents always pick clues, you will end up with infinite clues. And from there, if you have a card like Kraken Ironworks, you can sacrifice the treasures or the clues for mana. You can start going infinite, and if the opponents just give you infinite clues, you get to draw your whole deck from sacrificing them to Kraken Ironworks and drawing a card with the other clue. And if they choose to not give you clues and give you treasures, then you have infinite mana and you can get the clues from yourself. Pretty interesting commander. I think it will be more focused like a blink strategy, trying to get all the pieces for the artifact combo fast other than voting, but I can see it being a fully voting commander in the future, maybe if we get more good voting cards. And for the final commander for the Obscura deck is Oskar Rubbish Reclaimer. You cannot run this card as a commander for the precon, you have to build him 7 if you want to. So it's 3 Endymion colors for legendary creature, human wizard, 3/3. This spell costs 1 less to cast for its different mana value on cards you graveyard, and whenever you discard an non-land card, you may cast it from your graveyard. So, two things here. The different mana value means essentially you see what card you have in your graveyard, and for every different mana value, you have to pay 1 less to cast him. Obviously, it applies to the commander tags, so later in the game, you have more cards in your graveyard, you can cast him easier and easier. The second ability allows you to cast non-instants because you have to cast them when you resolve the trigger, and so it gives you permission to cast the spells even though they are not instant speed, so you can cast creatures, artifacts, sorceries, etc. So I think the direction here this means to go is obviously a wheel deck, so you play your windfalls, your dark deals, and you discard your hand and you get to cast the cards. Obviously you can use a ritual package to get mana before being able to cast a spell, because you have to pay normally the cost of the spells you get to cast them. But if you discard multiple cards, say you had 3 cards in your hand and you play windfall, you would discard your hand, you draw whatever amount of cards you are able to draw, then you get 3 triggers from Oskar to cast the cards you discarded from the windfall. You can stack the triggers how you want because they are waiting to trigger since the discard. And let's say you discarded a dark ritual and a necropotence and a land, so you get 2 triggers here, and so you can choose to put the necropotence trigger on cast on the stack first, then the dark ritual, and you get the mana from the dark ritual by paying a black, and you are able to cast the necropotence. I think this has very big potential to be like a super aggressive wheel commander deck where you get to dig for your infinite combo. Also it's in the mirror color, so you can very easily play Demonic Consultation and Thassa's Oracle and even discard them to get them faster out there. And because this does not restrict you from when you can play the spells, even if you are forced to discard them on opponent's turn, you can still play them. And these were the 3 new commanders from the Obscura deck. Overall I think they are okay in complexity. Maybe Kamiz has a little bit of a weird text, but I think they will inspire some pretty interesting decks. Thank you all very much for watching. See you in the next video.